Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Today we're cooking one of my favorite soups, a lobster bisque or lobster soup. It's a soup that I pretty much always loved when it's made well. When not so much. Like canned stuff, you can chase me away with. But the well-made lobster bisque is amazing. But before we have a look at what we have here on the board, please do me the favor, click the subscribe button and check the bell icon so that you get notifications when new episodes come online. Now let's have a look at what we have here. So we'll start with the most unattractive part. It's the carcasses of the lobster shells, just cut into pieces. I'll move that away. And instead, I'll show you these two from the fridge. We need cream. It's a creamy soup, so we need cream. And except for that, we have, basically you can divide it like this. This is to make the stock together with the carcasses or the shells. We have some cognac, just a little bit. About a glass of white wine. We have a little bit of white wine vinegar. I'm not sure we'll need all of it, so we'll add a little bit and then taste. A bit of lemon juice, some carrots, 1 garlic, 1 onion, some tomato puree. And on this side here, we have what's going into the soup once it is a soup already. So we have our lobster tails. I've already taken out the intestines. There's a way of doing that without cutting the lobster open. And I'm happy to show you that. If you want me to show you that, leave a comment below and we can do that in another episode. So these will just be fried in a bit of butter. And here we have some herbs, some dill. We have some fennel. This is raw fennel and I'm not cooking it, I'm putting it raw in. Gives a bit of a texture. And we have some lilac kale. This is pre-blanched, I just blanched it before. And we'll just kind of, not really fry, but warm it in some nice butter. And then we'll mix all of this together. And I forgot we have some Cervelle as well. So it will be cold, at least this part. And this will be kind of lukewarm. But now the stock is waiting, so let's go make the stock. We'll start by adding some neutral oil. We can add in our onions, garlic, and our carrots. So our vegetables have a bit of color. Put in our shells. And our tomato puree. It's important to fry off the tomato puree to kind of get some of the sourness out of it and more sweetness into it. So we're ready for some alcohol. That was the cognac first. We'll let it burn off a bit and then the white wine. And now we just want to cover this with water. Not too much water because we don't want to reduce it too much, but just so that it covers. And then we'll let this boil for half an hour. So this has been going for a good half hour. Now we'll take off the big stuff so we can strain it easier. We'll do a switcheroo with the pots. And our stock is ready. We can add in our cream. We'll let it come to a boil and then we'll season it with a bit of salt, a bit of vinegar, and see where we are taste-wise. Maybe it needs a bit more wine, but I don't think so. So this is boiling now. We're going to turn down the heat quite a bit because we're not making sauce, we're making soup, right? So we don't need to reduce it. Now the trick is if it's about to go over like this, you just take it off the heat and whisk a bit. A good pinch of salt, a little bit of our vinegar, and a little squeeze of lemon juice. Give this a taste. Oh, that's a nice lobster bisque. And you can see it's quite pale orange. If you want it darker or redder, you can add a bit more tomato puree than I did when you make the stock, and then we'll get a bit redder. But I don't mind this. One more taste. A little bit more salt. Perfect. Now the last thing we need to do is to put in a little bit of butter. So a good tablespoon of butter. This is not a diet dish anyway, so you might as well go all in. So our soup is ready. We'll keep that on a low heat now, and then we'll prepare the rest. Put a bit of butter in a frying pan. This is for the lilac kale. Put the kale in. Now this has been blanched before, as I said, so it doesn't need long in the pan. It's just to warm it up a bit. That's perfect. We'll take that now. So this is some butter that we're going to put in afterwards. And we'll just kind of first butter the lobster a bit. And normally I wouldn't do it like this, but since the butter is going in the same pan afterwards, it doesn't really matter. And now you can see our pan is smoking. We can put in our lobster. And now the steel rods that you can see here is what's keeping them from curling up. Now we're ready to turn them. And at the same time we put in our butter. And now we can baste them with this butter. And you continue basting them until you feel that they're done. And with lobster, like with fish, you can see kind of if it's glassy still, it needs a little bit longer. Our lobster is ready as well. Now we're ready to plate up. So let's start with our green stuff. We have our kale here. We'll put our herbs in, and you see I cut the fennel in smaller pieces. We'll just toss that quickly. Put that nicely in the middle like that. Now we need to make space for a cutting board. We have one of our lobster tails. Cut the ends off. These two are for the chef. And now we'll place this just around. And all that's missing is our soup. We have our soup here. We'll take a whisk it up so that it gets kind of frothy. Get a ladle. And we'll ladle it around. Still nice to see a bit of the green. I mean, you can always have a second serving, right? So that's our lobster bisque. Let's have a try. Let's dig in. This looks really nice. Lobster is perfectly cooked. And the Lobster Bisque has a nice freshness to it from the lemon and the vinegar, and a lot of good lobster taste. And the kale and the fennel adds kind of a bit of a nice bite to it. I could probably live off this, but my waist would be even bigger. If you enjoyed what we did today, please do me the favor, give us a big thumbs up below. And as always, if you haven't done so yet, please click the subscribe and check the bell icon so that you get notifications when new episodes come online. But that's it. That's the Lobster Bisque. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye-bye.